Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. If you're a Capricorn, or you're walking alongside one on the journey to wealth, listen carefully to this video until the very end, because this isn't just another who's compatible with whom kind of content for entertainment. This is a survival map, a compass to help you build an alliance that can stand with you through crises, weather the storm of instability, and endure the long, trying years that define a Capricorn's climb. Which zodiac signs can co-create a financial empire with Capricorn without crumbling under disagreements, ego clashes, or lack of vision? We'll decode this through 3 deep layers, just like a strategist, studying every angle before entering a billion-dollar deal. Layer 1, core personality, ruling planets, and elemental forces. What truly shapes the way each sign handles money, power, and commitment. Layer 2, real-world collaboration patterns in a global economy. That's shifting by the hour. Which signs will stand beside Capricorn and share the risk, and who will walk away when the pressure becomes too much? The final layer, the great planetary cycles of Saturn, Pluto, and Venus. When is the right moment to join force and turn effort into gold, and when must we stop before everything collapses beyond repair? Because Capricorn might be able to build an entire system alone, but to keep it running long-term, Capricorn needs someone quiet enough not to compete for the spotlight, but strong enough to never let go of the wheel. And now, let's begin with the very first alliance. Capricorn and Taurus, an alliance between the empire builder and the one who holds the key to the vault. A quiet alliance, yet one that makes the market take notice. If Capricorn is the one drawing up blueprints for a bank, then Taurus is the one holding the keys to the safe. One plans for the next decade. The other watches every single coin each day. They're not loud, not flashy, not chasing trends, but once they shake hands, the market should take notice. They both carry the energy of the earth element, pragmatic, persistent, and driven by the need for financial security. But don't be mistaken into thinking they're the same. They move in parallel, but never in identical roles. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is the system architect, the one who thinks ahead, drafts 5-year roadmaps, and refuses to build castles on sand. Taurus, ruled by Venus, is the guardian of value, preserving resources, moving slowly but surely, and only investing when security is certain. When Saturn meets Venus, reality touches value. Saturn, the planet of discipline and time, takes nearly 30 years to complete one orbit. Whatever Saturn builds must be long-lasting. Meanwhile, Venus, the planet of money, emotion, and beauty, moves faster and represents the things we cherish and want to protect. In astrology, when these 2 planets form harmonious aspects, it marks a golden window to build a long-term, stable financial alliance. If you're a Capricorn investing in real estate in Amsterdam and you partner with a Taurus who specializes in personal finance management, when Venus and Saturn both travel through Earth signs, that's the perfect moment to buy a rental property or expand your long-term investment portfolio. No speculation, no gambling. But caution is needed during Venus retrograde, about 40 days every 18 months. That's when the 2 of you might clash over spending habits, the definition of enough, or how to assess the value of an investment if not handled mindfully. Money issues could turn into fractures in trust. In work, Capricorn draws up strategy, sets targets, and plans scale. Taurus holds the treasury, firm checks every invoice, and vetoes unclear expenses. If you live in London and run a small agency with 5 team members, with a Capricorn at the helm for vision and a Taurus managing a steady cash flow, in just 3 years, that tiny office can become a financial ecosystem as solid as bedrock. In domestic life, Capricorn plans for retirement education funds for the kids and finances 20 years ahead. Taurus optimizes daily spending, guards savings, and makes sure no one goes over budget. One day, Capricorn suggests investing in a second home. Taurus objects, preferring to keep accumulating. The point isn't who's right, it's how both can find common ground. If Capricorn proves that the cash flow from the property will remain stable, Taurus will agree, so long as there's still a secure emergency fund. But here comes the most important warning. Both Capricorn and Taurus are stubborn as stone. Once they believe in their own system, they'll defend it to the end, and that is the real risk, not due to lack of capability, but due to lack of flexibility to listen and adjust. Leverage new moons or full moons in air signs like Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. That's when both minds become more open, less rigid, and unexpected solutions might emerge. Capricorn builds the empire, Taurus keeps it from collapsing. One looks forward, the other makes sure the present doesn't leak. They might not be the most dazzling pair at the party, but they're the ones who own the building the party is in. But remember, a financial system with only someone to safeguard wealth isn't enough. You also need someone who can spot the smallest cracks in the structure, the one who sees the flaw before it becomes a fatal hole. And that is where Virgo comes in. Capricorn and Virgo, an alliance between the architect of order and the one who perfects every blueprint. A quiet partnership, yet one that turns plans into empires. Unlike Taurus, who guards wealth with sheer consistency, Virgo protects it through knowledge, through process, and through a superior analytical mind. This isn't the friend you take to a party. This is the one you call when you're setting up an accounting system, developing a logistics strategy, or coordinating a large-scale project where a single mistake is not an option. Both Capricorn and Virgo are Earth signs, but the difference lies in their ruling planets. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, the planet of structure, time limitation, and responsibility. Virgo, under the influence of Mercury, the planet of intellect, detail, communication, and analytical logic. When Saturn meets Mercury, that's when strategy meets precision. Mercury only takes 88 days to orbit the Sun, fast, constantly updating. Meanwhile, Saturn takes 29 years, one step at a time, steady long-term. If in a birth chart, Mercury and Saturn form a trine or sextile, you can expect a highly productive phase. Big visions are analyzed, optimized, and brought back on track. This is the golden window to audit long-term budgets, optimize overlooked segments, or rescue a stalled strategy thanks to Virgo's analytical power. But beware when Mercury goes retrograde about 3 times a year. The Capricorn-Virgo alliance is particularly prone to data errors, miscommunication, and small technical glitches that cause major issues. Avoid signing contracts, avoid scaling up, avoid structural changes during this time. In the workplace, this alliance functions like the CEO and COO of a machine that never misses a beat. You're the Capricorn. You think in quarters, in years, in capitalization cycles. You map out expansion strategies, steer the company into new markets. And your Virgo counterpart, they won't interrupt you, but once you're done presenting, they'll ask, have you factored in legal localization costs for Western Europe? In a startup project, you're the one building a cross-border sales system. They're the one testing every CRM software, checking every payment clause, and making sure every process is ISO compliant if you plan to seek funding. In personal life, Capricorn and Virgo are the kind of couple that others admire for their realism. You might be planning your family's finances for the next 20 years, investing in government bonds, calculating retirement funds, while they are comparing electricity rates from 3 different providers, auto-transferring 10% of their income into savings every month, and sorting organic waste for composting on the balcony, frugal and sustainable. No embellishments, no theatrics, just effective and trustworthy. But here's the issue. They can be too good. When Saturn and Mercury form a square or opposition, you and Virgo might fall into cold, logical disputes. Efficiency stays high, but emotion get left behind. Finance is a tool, not the purpose of life. So remember to add a touch of art into your routine. A bit of music, a dinner with no agenda, a lazy afternoon just watching clouds drift by. Capricorn, the system architect. Virgo, the one inspecting every joint. If you're running an organization from a family to a startup, this is the ideal alliance to operate with precision, thrift, and reliability. After pairing with Virgo, the one who fine-tunes every corner of the system, Capricorn now has nearly everything needed to operate a flawless financial structure. Nearly. Because there's still one missing piece, something that can't be learned from books. That doesn't come from spreadsheets, but rises from inner depth and quiet command power. Not loud power, but the kind of power that whispers and still no one dares to challenge. If you've ever met a Scorpio, you already know exactly what that feels like. Capricorn and Scorpio, an alliance between the system builder and the one who controls the power beneath the surface, a silent pact, yet one that shapes empires from the shadows. It's not easy to connect with a Scorpio, and it's even harder to earn their complete trust. But if there's one zodiac sign with enough resilience, depth, and realism to make them open up, it's Capricorn. Capricorn doesn't need a cheerleader. You need someone who understands your cold, long-term thought process, not to praise it, but to help you operate it. And Scorpio doesn't need someone bubbly or loud. They need someone who won't break the silence, someone who accepts complexity, stays quiet, and thinks in strategy. When Saturn meets Pluto, structure touches power. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of boundaries, discipline, and time. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, the planet of invisible power, transformation, rebirth, and hidden resources. Pluto takes 248 years to complete one orbit, symbolizing shifts at a generational level. Saturn takes 29 years, marking milestones of personal maturity. When these two planets form harmonious aspects like a trine or sextile, you and Scorpio can together strategize long-term investments, property, land, tech stocks, build parallel operations, trust funds, behind-the-scenes businesses, or undisclosed digital assets. But when Saturn and Pluto are square or in opposition, you'll feel the silent tension, cold wars, power struggles, psychological territory invasions. In work, the architect and the shadow operator. Picture this. You, Capricorn, are building a financial management platform for expats. You design the system, set the roadmap, crunch KPIs. And Scorpio, working behind the curtain, designs the user data security layers, negotiates quietly with strategic partners, and cuts off unreliable vendors before you even notice the threat. They don't announce, they don't boast, but thanks to them, you never have to face the risk head on. In personal life, one handles the surface, one holds the depths. You take care of the home. Retirement planning, tuition funds for the kids. Scorpio quietly build an emergency stash, manage the bank accounts, and handle complex affairs from relatives to legal matters. If you live in cities like Vienna or Barcelona, where taxes and bureaucracy feel like a maze, Scorpio is the one who helps you navigate it, legally but cleverly. The challenge is, both want control, but neither wants to let go. Capricorn builds systems to control reality. Scorpio uses insight to control the undercurrents. Both dislike being directed, both believe they're right. And if roles aren't clearly defined, you'll end up in a silent power struggle, no shouting, no arguing, but both feeling intruded upon. Be especially mindful when Pluto transits through Capricorn or Scorpio. This is when you must engage in strategic dialogue to keep your alliance from fracturing. In essence, Capricorn lays the foundation. Scorpio manipulates the flow beneath it. One draws the map, one holds the key. When they align, they don't just build assets, they build power. And that kind of power is nearly untouchable. After partnering with a Scorpio, the one who helped you master what lies beneath the surface, unseen, you begin to realize you're excellent at managing systems, you're excellent at building futures. But Capricorn, are you any good at slowing down? Not for the plan, not for the finances, not for the goal, just to breathe, just to feel, just to enjoy a soft afternoon by the sea. If the answer is never, then it's time you met a Pisces. Capricorn and Pisces, an alliance between the lawmaker and the one who turns the irrational into breakthrough, a quiet fusion, yet one that transforms intuition into strategy and dreams into results. At two polar ends of the zodiac wheel, Capricorn and Pisces are two worlds that seem destined never to meet. One lives by structured deadlines and measurable outcomes, the other lives by inspiration, emotion, and spiritual connection. But precisely because of this deep contrast, if they learn how to work together, they could become the rare alliance capable of healing them both while birthing a financial model with soul. When Saturn meets Neptune, where structure meets idealism, Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is the sign of reality, limits, order, and time. Pisces, under Neptune's influence, is the sign of dreams, art, spirituality, and the intangible. Saturn takes 29 years to complete one orbit. Neptune takes on 65. Saturn stands for responsibility. Neptune stands for vision. And when these two planets form a trine or sextile, you and Pisces might combine Saturn's strategic thinking with Neptune's emotional creativity to create a product that's not only effective but deeply moving. Or co-develop a financial model with a humanitarian spirit, such as an artist support fund, a self-education platform, or a mission-driven startup. But if Saturn and Neptune are squared or opposed, this duo can spiral into conflict. Capricorn feels Pisces lacks responsibility. Pisces sees Capricorn as cold and controlling. In work, one is the strategy director, the other is the creative director. At a creative agency, you, the Capricorn, manage KPIs, publishing schedules, budgets, and cost optimization. Pisces writes stories that make people buy with their emotions, works with artists, musicians, and demanding clients with natural empathy, and might remind you to light a candle during a meeting because this client is very sensitive to lighting. At first it feels irrational, but then you realize the project succeeds not just because the model works, but because the users feel seen. In personal life, one handles retirement, the other buys flowers for no reason. Imagine the two of you living in Copenhagen, where work-life balance is a way of life. You optimize the 3-pillar pension fund. Pisces enrolls in a weekend pottery class. You save according to plan. They cook dinner and light candles because the full moon is so beautiful tonight. You feel off schedule, but also at ease. What both need to work on: losing direction and losing emotion. You need a roadmap. They need freedom. You fear losing control. They fear being boxed in. Without clear boundaries, you'll find Pisces vague and emotional, and they'll find you cold and unapproachable. So during full moons or new moons in water signs, talk about feelings, not budgets. And when Neptune is in retrograde, let Saturn verify reality before you make a move. And when Capricorn lays the foundation, Pisces breathes life into it. One keeps the money flowing, the other gives it a reason to exist. If you can define your boundaries and learn to respect each other's differences, this could be a perfectly tuned symphony between numbers and emotion. By Pisces' side, you learn to breathe slower and to listen, not just to live by systems, but to live with soul in every decision about time and money. But the world isn't made up only of empaths, and empathy isn't always enough. Sometimes what you need is a jump start, a bold leap, fast, and with no time for overthinking. And if there's anyone who'll hit the start button while you're still hesitating, it's Aries. Dear Capricorn, you're not afraid to start from zero. You don't mind doing things over and over as long as it serves a long-term goal. But no matter how capable you are, every system still needs someone else to sustain it, to walk beside you, to share the weight and nurture the dream. When Venus moves through an earth sign, seek out Taurus for steady accumulation. When Mercury's direct, join forces with Virgo to fine-tune every detail. When Pluto lends support, don't overlook Scorpio, who understands the whole picture from the shadows. When Neptune forms a trine, let Pisces help you reach the soul of your model. A strong financial alliance doesn't come from sameness, but from mature complementarity. Use your clarity to assess, use your structure to hold it steady, and use your wisdom, the one thing you always carry, to know when to walk with someone and when to walk alone. You don't need anyone to build success, but alone you can't create an ecosystem. In Capricorn, you were born to build systems that endure. If you've listened this far, I believe you're not just listening to an astrology video. You're looking for someone who can walk with you to the very end of your dream. So in your financial journey, your career building years, and even your toughest days, who have you been walking with? Is it a steady Taurus, a quiet Virgo who fine-tunes every move in peace, a strategic Scorpio who dares walk into the dark with you, unafraid of loss, or a gentle Pisces you just can't forget? Comment below which sign is this. And if something you heard today resonated with a part of you, please hit subscribe to receive the latest astrology insights. I'll see you in the next video.